I was refilling a Billionaire's coffee when four armed men walked into the diner. I didn't scream, I didn't freeze, I didn't pray out loud like everybody else did. And when I spoke, the man in that corner booth looked at me like he'd just seen a ghost from 6 years ago. You ever have a moment where the life you buried comes back for you all at once? That was mine. Murphy's Diner sits just outside the city right off the highway, the kind of place people stop when they don't want to be noticed. Truckers, sales reps, executives who tell their assistants they're between meetings. The neon sign flickers like it's tired, the coffee is strong enough to fix bad decisions, and nobody asks too many questions. That's why I chose it. After everything that happened, I needed a place where I could disappear in plain sight. Most people saw me as the quiet black waitress who moved a little too confidently for her job. I wasn't chatty, I didn't flirt for tips, and I didn't complain. I just worked. Every shift, every dollar counted. My little brother's tuition at community college didn't pay itself, and my mom's cancer treatments sure didn't. When you're the only safety net your family has, you don't get the luxury of ego, you just keep going. You know what I mean? That night, it was storming hard, thunder rattling the windows, rain slamming against the glass like it wanted inside. The dinner rush had passed, just a handful of customers left, a father and his son coloring at a booth, an older man reading the paper, and one man sitting alone in the back corner. He wore expensive casual clothes, the kind that pretend not to be expensive. Confident but low-key. He ordered black coffee. When I set the mug down, he looked at me a little too long. Not creepy, curious. "Have we met before?" he asked. I kept my voice neutral. "Don't think so." But I felt it in my chest, that tight flicker of recognition. His name was Andrew Whitmore, CEO of Whitmore Industries. 6 years ago, his company had nearly collapsed under a hostile takeover. I was the crisis consultant who guided him through it over the phone. 3 weeks of strategy, no spotlight, just calm decisions in chaos. I saved his company. Then 2 weeks later, I lost my entire life. I was framed for corporate espionage, fake emails with my digital signature, offshore transfers, and my name records showing I'd leaked merger data. It looked airtight, and I was one person up against billion-dollar forces. I tried to fight it first, hired a lawyer, prepared statements. Then someone left a photo on my mother's hospital bed, my brother walking across campus. No note, no threats, just a message. Disappear quietly or your family pays. So I signed a settlement, agreed to step out of the industry, and vanished. I changed cities, changed routines, became invisible. So when Andrew stared at me in that diner, I told myself he was mistaken. People see what they want to see. I wasn't that woman anymore. I was just Maya refilling coffee. Then the front door slammed open. 4 men rushed in, masks up, guns drawn. Nobody moved. Chairs scraped. Someone screamed. The little boy started crying. Panic hit the room like a wave, and I felt something else hit me. Muscle memory. Calm. Focus. "Everybody breathe," I said, steady but not loud. Hands up where they can see them. Slow movements. One of the gunmen swung his pistol toward me. "Shut up." I didn't flinch. "I'm helping you. Calm people cooperate. Panicked people make mistakes." The leader glanced at me, assessing. "She's right," he muttered. I crouched next to the little boy. "Hey, buddy, you're doing good. Deep breath with me. In and out." His dad mouthed thank you with tears in his eyes. The youngest gunman hovered near me, jittery finger too tight on the trigger. "What's your name?" I asked him gently. "What, your name?" "I'd rather talk to a person than a gun." He hesitated. "Marcus." "Okay, Marcus. You don't want this to get worse. I can see that." His shoulders loosened just a bit. From the corner, Andrew was watching. Not scared, calculating. I knew that look. He leaned just slightly toward me and whispered, "I know your voice." For a split second, my composure cracked. "Yeah, that happened," he remembered. The gunmen weren't interested in the cash register. They went straight for the back office. "Where's the computer?" "The network system." My stomach dropped. This wasn't random. They dragged out our manager's laptop and an external hard drive. The manager, Tom, looked like he might faint. That's when he broke. "They threatened my daughter," he stammered. "They just wanted access to the Wi-Fi logs. I didn't know it would turn into this." Murphy's Diner had a secure guest network that traveling executives used when they didn't want to use company servers. Private calls, confidential negotiations. I had flagged unusual off-network communication patterns years ago when I was consulting. That report was filed 3 days before the accusations against me went public. I thought I was exposing a vulnerability. Turns out I was exposing a wiretap. Sirens wailed in the distance. The leader cursed. Then his phone rang. He answered, listened, and went pale. They want confirmation before we leave. They don't trust us. A second call came minutes later. This time his jaw clenched. They tipped off the cops that we're planning to execute hostages. Silence fell. Dead gunmen can't testify, I said quietly. They were disposable. Whoever hired them wanted the data and no witnesses. The leader stared at the hard drive in his hand. You think this proves you were set up, he asked me. I know it does. You think they'd kill us over it? They already tried. Thunder rolled outside. After a long moment, he yanked the external drive free and tossed it across the room. It slid to my feet. We take the laptop as a decoy, he said. If we're stopped, that's what they get. Then they ran into the storm. Police flooded in seconds later. When the detective asked what I was holding, I didn't hesitate. Evidence, I said, and I want this investigated. The next 12 hours felt unreal. Forensic analysts confirmed it. 8 years of recorded executive calls, network logs, deal timelines. Insider trading on a massive scale. Billions in manipulated markets. The shell corporations traced back to Meridian Holdings. Its CEO, Richard Thornton, had been one of the executives using that diner's Wi-Fi right before I was framed. 3 days after my security report was filed, $2 million moved from a Meridian shell company to the law firm that prosecuted me. They funded the case that destroyed my life. Media outlets tried to get ahead of it, running headlines about disgraced consultant resurfacing, but this time I wasn't alone. Andrew stood beside me publicly. The FBI got involved. Warrants were executed at dawn. I watched from a surveillance van as agents led Thornton out in handcuffs. He looked shocked, then furious, then calculating, but there was nowhere left to hide. They found financial trails, internal memos, proof of systematic espionage and market manipulation. Within weeks, charges stacked up: racketeering, fraud, witness intimidation, 23 years in federal prison. My original case was vacated, officially exonerated. When my mom called crying, saying she always believed me, I realized how heavy those 6 years had been. I thought disappearing was strength. It was survival. There's a difference. Survival keeps you breathing. Justice lets you breathe. I went back to Murphy's Diner a few days later. The place looked smaller in daylight. Tom handed me the $50,000 Meridian had paid him. It's blood money, he said. I donated it to a legal fund for people wrongfully accused of corporate crimes, because I wasn't the only one. Andrew offered me a job. I turned it down at first, then accepted a consulting role on my own terms. No more hiding, no more shrinking myself. I still have my apron folded in a box at home. I don't hate that chapter. It taught me resilience. It reminded me that dignity isn't about job titles. But here's the part that still keeps me up at night. If I hadn't been in that diner that stormy night, if those gunmen hadn't walked in, would I still be hiding? Would Meridian still be manipulating markets, destroying lives quietly? Justice came at a cost. My family needed protection again. My name was dragged through headlines again. And yeah, part of me wonders if staying invisible would have been safer. So I want to ask you something. If exposing the truth meant risking everything you rebuilt, your peace, your family's safety, would you do it? Or would you stay quiet and protect what little stability you have? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you would have chosen. And if you've ever been underestimated, misjudged, or forced to shrink yourself just to survive, share that too. Because sometimes the quiet person pouring your coffee has already fought a war you know nothing about. And sometimes when they finally stand up, it changes everything.